Good evening, guys. Today we have Kyle Benzies, one of my good friends, someone who I've known for about 5 years. And Kyle's a kick-ass broker. He's the director of recruitment at AMI. He's helped me quite a bit and some of our brokers. Kyle, thank you for coming on the podcast
Thank you
today.
for having me.
Absolutely. So, Kyle, as a national director of recruitment, a lot of brokers often ask me, hey, what is Kyle's role besides recruitment?
I would say ensuring that the brokers, their voice is heard once they're actually within the brokerage. It's a huge thing. Imagine getting onboarded and being told that you're going to experience wonderful things, and then you need a little bit more.
That's true.
It happens, right?
It
You want to
does.
grow. What if, let's just say, you are doing 20 million a year and you want to get to that next level? Actually listening to their thoughts, knowing what their dreams are, and then putting the right tools or person, such as yourself, in front of them to
Right.
have those conversations. That is part of my role after brokers come on board.
Yeah, it's funny you said that. A lot of brokers, they complain that they were overpromised because we are on the receiving end of these phone calls. Yeah, I was told I was going to get this. And the only thing I got was lender trainings. And I say, well, at least you got lender trainings, right? So, but the point is, I think that's where, you provide them that white glove service. You bring them on, you coach them, train them, and at the same time, you do provide those lender trainings too. They're great, but you go above an extra mile, and I think that's what you're referring to. And the second thing you said was you sort of take on responsibility on your shoulders for their success because you're promising them something, and that they're coming under under that illusion that, okay, I'm a $20 million producer. If I join this brokerage, maybe I'm going to get trained by $300 million producer, and my book of business is going to grow. So you have to be able to deliver on that, to retain them, to sustain them, and to keep, to hopefully, build a successful business model. So I really appreciate you sharing that now. So, the second thing I want to know is, how's recruitment different when you are building a brokerage? I mean, versus just kind of filling seats.
If we were to just be filling seats, it would be kind of like what we say in finance. So a lot of the lenders, they say, you throw crap at a wall or mud at a wall and you hope that it sticks.
Yeah, that's so true.
It's not about having a ton of people that just want to do it part-time. We want people that are actually going to do it full-time. People that are really going to commit to their success.
Yeah, that's serious.
That's what they're committing to. They're committing
Right.
to their success. And having a brokerage that backs their success, knows how to get them to that point of success that they're hoping for, it's a huge thing. Look at your numbers, right?
Right.
We have some top producers in the brokerage that
Right.
are producing a significant amount, but we're all sharing ideas.
To add on to that, I think what you're saying, right? Like, there's one side that you're sharing ideas and you're sharing, your success with others. At the same time, just think about the level of risk you're taking for your clients, right? Who might have placed these large deposits on these purchases or banking on the fact that you're going to be able to do equity takeouts and they'll be able to pay their debts, right? And so I think there's definitely two parts to that equation. And at the same time, I always say I'm more than happy to spend time with a broker who is new or who's emerging, who's been in the space for 2-3 years, 5, 10 years, 20 years, and have not found the traction because of the setup they were in. The only thing I require is them to be committed. And if they can't commit, then I can't commit either. It doesn't matter how much I'm gonna help. And I think we're not being selfish, if I'm being honest. If anything, we're being honest to the broker with their expectations. So so I agree with what you're saying.
Absolutely. And when they come over, when new brokers come over, and when I say new brokers, what I mean is brokers for our brokerage. They could have been a broker for 20 years. Some of the brokers that I've chatted with, they have been brokers for almost 20 years. Imagine that, almost 20 years, and they still haven't found their home. And then they're having a conversation with us about some of the challenges that they found. Maybe they haven't found that from an AI perspective, that they are getting the support that they need, the systems that they need nowadays. They're finding that maybe their brokerage is kind of at a stalemate. They're using old tools, old techniques, and they need that creative edge from people that have creative edges. That is what people can experience in DLC AIMI Collective Mortgage Group.
Yeah, I appreciate you saying that, Kyle. And so that begs another question. I know I've known you for 5, 6 years now. You've been a great friend, and we're growing many things together. We're growing this brokerage. We're growing a lot of brokers collectively on a day in, day out basis. We're holding all these events. We're educating our brokers, and we're very excited for 2026. We were very excited for last year. It was an amazing year. This year, even right from the get-go, has been showing numbers what we did in the first quarter of last year already, in January, sort of, finishing January here. But my question to you is, why did you took this role, of trying to, and why with us, right? Like, you could have been anywhere, to be honest with you.
Because I believed in it. I'm as ethical as you could possibly get. I don't even have a speeding ticket to my name. It was very important for me to align myself in this type of role with a brokerage that ethics actually mattered. On top of that, I like the fact that I had the ability as a mortgage broker myself to get licensed in multiple provinces. Within a brokerage, when you join, you don't think about those things initially. I thought about those things, and I think it's very important for brokers to know that they can come over and get licensed in BC, in Alberta, in Ontario. We're Canada-wide.
Right.
And that being part of a brokerage and being in this role where I can educate the brokers, you are in the BC environment, you are doing incredible in BC, but why not step it up a notch? Go over to Alberta, go over to Ontario. Let us promote you in those areas.
100%. Let us help you with your marketing campaigns. We'll share the tools who are being, essentially being used by my team. There's huge producers we have in the brokerage, like about 4 CMP top 75 brokers and many emerging ones. We're going to have probably a couple of more names this year. But my point is, we're willing to share our tools and systems and structures with you. And, brokering is no longer a localized business anymore. You can sit here, and sometimes you don't have to be in these cutthroat, very competitive sort of markets. You can always get out, or sometimes the markets you're in, they're great, but, there's not a lot of transactions taking place in that given market. So yeah, it naturally makes sense. Maybe shift your focus in a market which is booming, right? So I love that you said that, and a lot of brokers often miss that piece. Now, I do want to ask you this question personally because, and I think we've talked about this before, but I want you to share this with the audience. What do you look for in a broker before you even talk splits?
Somebody that has passion, somebody that has a story to tell, something that has triggered their heartstrings in some way, that they're not in it just for the money. They are in it because they want to make a difference. That's what we want. Yeah. We want somebody that is going to go out there and just kill it in the industry.
Right.
But in a way that's actually going to make a difference, make that broker look good, make the brokerage look good, and make the brand of Dominion Lending Centers look great.
Yeah, it's funny you said that. I think I believe in the philosophy of serving people. When you come from that mindset, the money will follow you, right? Like sooner or later, the success will come to you. But if you are trying to make a difference in people's lives each day, every single day, things are going to happen for you, right? So you got to change that focus. And I like that, you said that there's got to be story, there's got to be some passion. If that is not there, then we're not the right fit for you. You're just looking at it from a wrong angle, and sooner or later it's going to catch up to you. And so it would to us as well. Kyle, you talk to a lot of brokers a day in, day out. I know that because we, are recruiting many of them, or some have already come to the brokerage. Some of these brokers are 5-10 years experience, some are just coming into the space. What red flags show up early in those recruitment calls?
The ones that talk about the money. All they talk about is the money that they want to make personally. As you said, the money will follow, but when all they talk about is the money, it's going to be challenging. It's going to be challenging to teach them empathy,
Right.
because they're focused on the money. They might focus on the wrong type of deal. They might focus on getting a mortgage across the finish line in an unethical or even an illegal way. So when they're focused on just money, sometimes
Then
that can
all
be
their focus is, yeah.
it changes your mindset. If money will follow, absolutely, it'll follow, but build a solid, ethical, amazing book of business based on heart, based on passion. Those are core beliefs that you need to have.
Yeah, I'm glad that you said that. Honestly, I could not agree more.
One of the other red flags that I would say is people that come to the brokerage and talk about the fees, the brokerage fees, Dominion lending fees, the splits. When they're focused on that being part of their concern, I think that it takes away from the value that's added from the brand of Dominion Lending. 20 years, 20-year anniversary they just hit. That's pretty amazing. And within our brokerage, you're getting into a brand, something that is trustworthy, something that will accelerate their business. That's extremely important. If you're focused just on what the cost is going to be, which is rather minuscule in the grand scheme of things, then you're taking away from the thing that is actually going to accelerate you the most.
Yeah, no, it's funny you said that. Actually, majority of the times there is no cost. There's the and there's the ad front cost, and anything the brokerage gets paid is out of the commission you earn and you make. Now, how do you quickly tell if a broker is serious or they're just shopping?
If they're shopping, they are not going to be asking questions. They're going to primarily just be listening. We want them to ask questions. We want to make sure that the brokerage actually is a good fit for them, just like they are a good fit for us. If they're quiet, they've probably been quiet at quite a few different brokerages. And we want the best of the best, the people that are willing to put in the hours, get the job done, because it only helps them at the end of the day. It benefits them to actually be fully involved, fully immersed.
Kyle, can you shed some light? What kind of broker is not a fit for AIMI?
That's a good question. Main thing that I can think of is somebody that doesn't have integrity. Somebody that has no concern about what they're doing, the effects that it will have on themselves or the brokerage or the brand of Dominion
and
Lending.
their clients. They're literally risking their clients.
They are, absolutely. And that, unfortunately, it doesn't matter if you're a mortgage broker or you are a banker. There are people that don't care about ethics. They don't care about mortgage fraud. That is somebody that we don't want.
Yeah,
we don't want.
that.
There's no conversation. It's not. It comes up, and it is an immediate blacklist. We don't want you part of the brokerage. We want ethical brokers. We want people that have. They care about what they're doing.
Yeah, they
so
have
much.
empathy, integrity, compliance. They understand the longevity in the business, what they're risking, what the pitfalls are, and there's plenty of. Actually, majority of brokers are amazing. So, Kyle, besides being in this role, you're a kick-ass broker.
Thank you.
You've done a lot of business, and recently I was in Toronto with you at the CMA Awards where not only you were nominated, but you were the winner of the Reverse Mortgage Broker of the Year. Now, walk me through how that transpired and what was the story behind that and how we landed in that room.
Okay, so I'm going to give a client story here. Certain client came to me, and this was my very first reverse mortgage deal. Within the brokerage, we had a lot of broker training, and it sounded interesting. A reverse mortgage, what's that all about? No payments. Didn't really make a whole heck of a lot of sense. And then I went to the trainings, and I felt, hey, this is a neat avenue to go down. And I had a call from an 80-plus-year-old client.
80 plus.
80
Wow.
plus. And she was looking for a mortgage that was over $500,000. How the heck am I going to get that done? She has no income, next to no income. She wanted to stay in her home. So her story was she had a son that was terminally ill. Her advice, or the advice that she was given by a bunch of realtors, was sell your place. We'll go buy another one. We'll buy a smaller, we'll downsize. But her son was terminally ill and had lived in that home for over 40 years. Over 40 years. He had lived his entire life in that home. She had lived the majority of her life in that home.
Unbelievable.
She wanted to keep the home, but there was next to no income. That's when a reverse mortgage came into play. I did that mortgage for her. She stayed in her home. I couldn't fathom the thought of her packing belongings, her son's belongings, to possibly never open them up again. And that's actually what ended up happening. He passed shortly after. When I found my direction in reverse mortgages through that story, through that experience.
That story just gave me goosebumps. Wow.
Through that experience.
And I didn't know that story.
No.
I know you got the award because you were the Reverse Mortgage Broker of the Year in Canada. But I didn't know that story behind that.
It changes things. It changes your perspective on the value that you're adding to your client. After that funded, I put a heavy emphasis on reverse mortgages. When the CMAs for 2025 came up, the Canadian Mortgage Awards nominations, I felt this is actually something, I'm doing a lot of these. I think that I could actually possibly win it. But even if I just got nominated, I thought that would be a pretty cool experience. And I went into our brokerage chat and I just asked their advice. What do you guys think about me going and getting nominated for this? Would any of you back it? And the brokerage, and I'm not talking about administration, I'm talking about all the brokers that were part of the brokerage and administration. They all backed me and nominated me.
Yeah,
and
then your passion behind that. Yeah.
Everybody put their best foot forward. And I believe that was probably one of the biggest things that could have helped me out. It doesn't matter about volume. It was about the story and the people that knew me and why I was doing it.
Right.
It made a huge difference. That brokerage support made a massive difference. And that's something that helped me become more committed to my brokerage.
Yeah, of course you were nominated. We have a few other people nominated in many categories, and it was just brokers in the brokerage taking initiative to help each other out. Knew some of the brokers who had done really well. Some of the brokers were doing extremely well in the alternative space. Some of the brokers were the top producers in the country. The brokerage was doing really well. So congratulations to you.
And thank you for actually flying across Canada
Yeah.
to come support me.
Yeah,
That was amazing.
No, if I could do it all over again, I would do it for you 100%.
First class with lay down seats next time.
I don't know if I got first class. It's more like economy, but hey, who cares? It's only a 4-hour flight, right? So Kyle, as a director, how do you position AI MI in such a crowded landscape?
Great question. Everybody sings the same tune, right? We have the best training. We have the best mentors. We have people that are there to assist you at any given moment. The only thing is are they truly? See, that's something that I've personally experienced, and that's something that I see with other brokers. They come in, they want a certain level of training as a new broker or a well-seasoned broker just looking to get to the next level. And there's a proven concept here. There's a proven concept because the brokers that come in that are either new or well seasoned, their numbers are going up.
Agreed.
They're actually getting there. So it's not just talk,
Yeah, it's
because
one after another.
Everybody's talking the talk, right?
Yeah, or we'll do this, we'll do that, but where's the numbers?
Absolutely.
The proof is in the pudding. We want to take a look at the numbers. Do you have CMP top 75 brokers, one after another?
Absolutely.
If you do, then yeah, sure, you have the proven systems. You just don't have the bodies, but you have the proven systems. People getting to the top of the food chain, and hopefully they can train others, right? So I agree with you.
Absolutely. And also the systems, okay? Most brokerages, at least from what I've seen, and what I see online is kind of what is probably going on at the brokerage, is they're not talking about the systems that they're creating. They're utilizing other systems or promoting other systems, which can be great in ways, but take it to the next level. And that's what we're doing. We're the AI mentor. AI mentor. Imagine just going into a chat or having a voice chat and being able to have a conversation at any time of the night,
Right.
answering your questions about what documents to collect, what type of specialized programs
you know,
exist.
I was talking to a broker exactly that, and he said unbelievable, but continue.
And also, imagine AI underwriting. What if the basics of your file were in a chat? No personal information aside from just basic stuff, income, maybe how long they've had their type of work, the type of work that they have, maybe they're self-employed or they're employed, the credit score without credit numbers or anything. And the system was able to pinpoint different programs and different areas that the client may qualify. Underwrite. It's a difficult thing when you're thinking about dozens or even hundreds of lenders that we have access to. How do you know if one private lender is going to work over another private lender? These are questions that you can't be versed on everything. But imagine if there were tools that the brokerage was supporting and putting in front of the brokers that was actually able to get them to the next level without them going and spending years upon years knowing all these lenders' programs that are always evolving. Being able to ask the questions to an AI mentor.
Yeah.
Of course, everybody wants access to Asim. Everybody wants access to all the top brokers within the brokerage. But what if they had access to something that was available to them 24/7?
Yeah, which Asim is using. Many of the top producers between 50 to 200 to 300 million volume are using. And we're just sharing it with you. This is what we do day to day. This is how we stay active. We still work less than you, but we're able to do more than you.
It's huge.
And, you know, yeah. Kyle, it was a pleasure having you. I'm going to bring you back. You know, you're going to be seeing Kyle more often. Thank you so much, my man. It is late in the day.
Let's do it.
Have a beautiful
See
evening.
you next time.
See you next time.